Hello, my name's Alison from Tonic Studios. Today I'm here to show you how to use the Idyllics folder and dies. This is an example of an Idyllics set. It comes with one embossing folder and 10 dies. This is the type of card we can make using these folders and dies. To make an A5 card, I'm going to take an A4 piece of paper, of cardboard rather. This is 300 GSM, and I'm going to make a score just slightly on the halfway line, either side. There are two edger dies in the set. One is patterned right the way across. That will cut the card completely. The other is patterned in the middle, but has got straight embossing lines on either end. That will only cut in the centre part, which will give us the pop-up part of the card. So I've put a score at the halfway mark on my card, and I'm going to line the die up with those lines. Just make sure that you tape it properly because you don't want this to move. I'll just move my scoring board out of the way. Okay, so today I'm using the ground calibre. So I've got my base plate and my cutting plate. Sorry about the squeak. Just pop the tape off. There we are. And there's the pop-up part of the card completed. That could be at the top of the card or the side of the card. Now I'm going to do the embossing part that we've got here. So I've got a black piece of card and our embossing folder. Place the card into the folder, making sure it's lined up straight. The shape in the embossing folder mirrors the shape of the die, so it'll fit perfectly. So to use the embossing folder, you will need the raspberry plate. This doesn't come with a machine. You can either use this as a deboss or an emboss effect. So I get a little bit of gilding wax so we can have a little look at the embossing. This is the effect we can achieve with gilding wax, or we could use dry brushing with embossing inks just to raise the pattern. Let me just put the lid on there. I'm now going to cut the strap part of the die. This is our strap, and that sits perfectly inside the pattern. So that could either be cut out of the same piece of card, marrying it up with the pattern, or a separate piece. So I'm going to use a separate piece today. And I'm going to use a piece of gold card. So just making sure you've got enough space either side, because I want to cut the die out after. That's all cut. I'm going to emboss it because I want to see the edge of the die as well. Make sure I haven't got any bits underneath. Just take the tape off. Okay, and there's the pattern all cut out of the card. I'm going to use the other border this time because I want to cut this design completely out of the card. So we're going to use the border with the cutting edge from top to bottom. Make sure I've got rid of all my bits. So that die is the one that's completely patterned. We can choose here whether to trim one end of the die, or one side of the die, or both sides. It's entirely up to you. This die lines up with the embossed edge that's already on your card. There we are, that's the one side cut, and as you can see that fits perfectly into the embossing. So I'm now going to cut the other side. And again I'm lining it up with the embossing line. This gives us both sides now cut. So I'm going to place that onto my mat. And this is going to come as part of the top of my card. But I'm going to trim the black right to the edge of that die. So I'm just measuring up where I want to put this die. And because I want to match it completely, I'm going to line it up to the edge of the gold card and then take that away. I'm not bothered that the top of the card is over the top, the die is over the top of the card, because that's not going to be seen. So there we have the gold card with the black and the embossing folder. I'm going to trim the embossing design to fit the card. So I'm going to make a little mark where the edge of the card is. So I'm going to use our little handy trimmer, and I'm going just a little bit inside that mark because I want a small edge on my card. And I'm also trimming a little bit off the sides because I want to give it a little bit of a border. There we are. Okay. So I'm going to glue this die on. We have a choice here. We can either use our edging die to cut into the card, or our central die rather, as I've done here, or we can cut it into a separate piece of card, as I've done this time. So we're getting a little bit of a different effect using the same dies. Just popping a little bit of glue around the edge of the die. I'm using the Tonic Funky glue. This is the only glue I ever use. So I'm just lining it up with the embossing. There we are. And I'm going to trim the edge so that it matches. And now we're going to pop this onto the card. So we've got a little border going all around. I'm just lining it up. Then we're going to pop a topper on the top. I've cut some little sentiments. This time we've got special wishes, and this is all in the die set. And I'm going to make this a flat card, but you could equally 3D these designs. So we can choose now, do we want a card to open that way, or do we want it that way? So I think we'll have that way this time. So we're going to pop this little bit of glue around the edge again. And you've got a little embossed edge that you can follow. A little bit of glue coming out over the edge. But I can wipe that up. And there we are. And there we have our card.